Alrighty, good people across the land and across the country from London to the Bay. Guys, this is the best dang sports show that you ever going to find anywhere going. We appreciate all of our fans, Dean. Our side note show is one over at 1,100. Our main page is one over 2,200. And we're gaining new members every week. On our YouTube channel. Twitter's grown. It's close to 300. So it's kicking right along.
Oh.
Like Donkey Kong.
Yeah. 159 shows, right?
Yep. This is
a
159.
Lot. 21 more and we've passed Seinfeld. That's a lot. I mean, you know, everybody thinks of Seinfeld is the greatest ever. They only did 21 more shows than we did.
Well, I mean, hey, when you got it, son, smoke them if you got them. This is the college portion of the show, and we appreciate you guys coming by. And we got plenty to talk about. We got a comment already up. I heard the Alabama left tackle woke up too fast this morning and got another false start penalty. It may have happened. It's very likely. You never know what may happen. Tennessee played a fantastic ball game. They had no offsides, no pass interferences. They had no penalties at all. It's just, they had 6. So
17-6, which was only discrepancy. Now, an even game.
I never seen a team play that good, not to have any penalties, no real penalties at all. Man,
the only one
that's pretty good.
Matt, was
the targeting. That makes
I
me
didn't
mad.
like that pass interference, Logan. I know you're watching.
Well,
but, you know,
he's not dumb. He knows football.
I did not like it because it went, and I didn't get in an argument, but me and a buddy of ours disagreed. He goes, the DB caused him to drop that. He jumped up and he knocked his. I said, he didn't touch that ball. It went right through the player's hands. He did have him around the waist.
And his hand was up there with his hand.
He did not impede. You know, you pull somebody down to keep him from catching a ball.
The ball went just like this.
Right through his hands on the 4th and
just like this.
6.
This way. Make sure you see right at you. His hand's here. The ball went through his hands.
And he did. He was wrapped
and
around
he had his
him.
left
I just
hand.
don't think it.
There was no jersey tugging, but
and it was late too. He got to him right as the ball got there. Oh God, the football!
Get on the ball. You know, when Bama had that scoop and score there on that snap.
We didn't even know what happened.
I thought he handed it off to the defender. I thought, well, they went ahead now.
Matt just looked at me and said, "What just happened?"
I said, I can't believe they're going to win this game. We had them.
No, I thought it was over.
We had them picked to lose this game in August.
And I'm not knocking the defense, but Matt, let me say, 15 seconds left. You're not anywhere near field goal range. Your 83-yard field goal. Tennessee gains 45 yards in 2 plays in 15 seconds. That's unacceptable. I mean, would you agree?
Yeah, let's just
an 18-yard and a 27-yard passes down the field.
Just be honest. And here's something I heard a shout out to.
That's where they lost the ball game.
Andrews, good people. Went on his dad, played at Sand Rock Dan. Mm-hmm. Big Dan, rest in peace. He was a fantastic man.
He was.
Fantastic guy, and I'm terrible that happened to him. But he always said, don't ever leave the game up to the refs or your kicker. And Bama, you done both.
Yeah.
What else you want? They drove the ball down the field and let the kicker kick to win the game, and he missed it.
Yeah, I mean, you know, all that being said, you know, I'm sitting here talking about a pass interference call I think hurt them. No, Alabama come back and had a chance to win the game, which it was a long field goal.
It was 20-7 at one time.
Yeah,
the first part of the game.
28-10. So you don't win 28-10. I'd like to know the number of teams that are down by 18 that come back and win.
I was surprised that they came back, and I'll go back and find it. If people think we're just saying it just because we're trying to toot our own horn, we're not. You can go back on one of the shows in the summer when we start doing early picks. Mm-hmm. We had Bama, they're going to drop a game, and it's going to be this one.
Possibly. More than likely.
And we kind of felt like they may drop one to Ole Miss because Lane is good with that offense. And Bama, this is not nothing new for Bama. Okay? Mm-hmm. They just had a record-setting penalty game against Texas a few weeks back, right?
Now, this has been a sloppy team as far as the penalties.
It would be different if, like, Bama was going out and dominating people like they did 3 or 4 years ago. Mm-hmm. They're just beating people 45-0 and 33-6.
No, they're not.
This is not anymore. That's over. Is Nick Saban slipping? This is the end of the road? Well, maybe he is.
They're not as disciplined a team. As
No,
they have
but
been.
what I'm telling you is football's just more even. These NIL deals and this transfer portal, guys are saying, I don't want to sit behind so and so. Well, you'll get a ring if you do, and it don't matter.
The PI. No, Logan. He pulled him down. All right. But
Never
we
makes the
love
kicks
Logan.
that are the kicks are.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and it was a 50-yard field goal, but Alabama had their chances to win.
Well, what about the 12 men on the field, or the face mask where the Tennessee guy had the Bama guy by the face mask? There's too many to count. It wasn't even close. I mean, 16-6 is. There's no argument that it's. Well, we'll just call it even because it was 3 times. Now, did Bama deserve probably 90% of those calls?
Yeah, they get a lot of penalties.
They did. Why?
They
Because they're not disciplined. Because they're not a fantastic football team. But they're good. Bama fans, we've lost 1 game. Do you remember the days, or are you too young, that when we were happy to win 7 or 8 games? Calm down.
Well, they come in averaging 9.5.
Chill out. Guys, Bama has had 1 loss every year they won a national championship, except for, I think, 1 year. Right?
Yes.
Come on.
2.
Twice.
They went undefeated twice.
It's
Derrick
crazy.
Henry in that. No, they did not go to undefeated with Derrick Henry. Ole Miss beat them.
Yeah, it's just unexpected to think that teams are supposed to go undefeated. So now, Bama fans' expectations are we got to go undefeated or we don't have a successful season, and that's garbage. Let me tell you something. You know how many years and years and years and years, 15 years, 20 years of all these other teams, Dean, that's had to suffer with the idea, well, Bama's coming to town. I guess that's a loss for us.
Yeah.
It's been going on for a long time. Guys, my son had started school yet the last time Tennessee beat Alabama, and he's 19.
I know.
You know how many years Alabama got to smoke them cigars?
I know.
Be thankful that we got to do it all that time. And you know what may happen next year? They're going to come to Tuscaloosa, and we'll probably beat them. I don't know.
I mean, I don't know. Heupel's done such a good job.
I don't know. Yeah, and they, it is what the launching to the face with the crown of your helmet to a defenseless player, that's garbage. I have seen players get thrown out for way less.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't want to hear another word from the NCAA about trying to protect players. Don't tell me that. And you looked at it.
Yeah.
And you come back on the TV, live TV, and looked at the camera in the face and said, we didn't see any targeting. That's a lie. That's bull crap. I don't want to hear it. Don't never say you care about the kids and we're trying to protect the kids. That's a lie. You're not. He launched with his hands down beside him, his top of his helmet in Bryce's face.
Yeah. It was
And it wasn't like he was running the ball and he's going to – now that kind of stuff, that's what I don't like about targeting.
Yeah, when the player lowers his head.
Running back's got the ball and he's running – and here comes the defender, and he lowers his head into him, and they crash. They throw the defender out. That's terrible. We've got to adjust that. But when a guy throws a ball, when the ball's out of his hand, he's standing there defenseless, and he takes the top of his helmet and crushes him in the face with it, I think it's football. I think you just got to get over it and move on.
Yeah, but if you got the –
But if we have a rule,
yes,
and we're going to say, we're worried about concussions, protocols for quarterbacks, and keeping them safe, you're a liar. You're not. Don't feed me that.
I don't know how they looked at that and didn't. But, hey, hats off to Hooker. God, this Jalen Hyatt.
What a great game. 6 catches, over 200.
275. Hey, guys, who is this guy? Logan, you're watching it. I mean, who is this cat? That's the best receiver. Is he not the best in the country? He's not even supposed to be the best on the team.
I don't know, Logan. Those stogies may have been a little molded. It's been 15 years. I hope he bought a new box.
What, did he smoke? Oh, yeah, he was smoking one on the...
Said the stogies tasted good.
He was smoking one on the...
But if he saved them from the last time that happened, them are probably not good.
Logan's a young man.
I hope he went and bought some fresh ones.
He called it. He was worried, though. He was a little worried. But, I mean, everybody. I was worried, too.
Oh yeah, I didn't. We did not pick Alabama to win this game. Go to back in September, June, August.
No, I thought they could lose it. And Hooker, I was impressed with him. I'm impressed with how he stays in the pocket.
Well, he just stood there.
He just stands there.
That's another thing. Bama had no pressure.
He just takes it. Whatever. So what? I'm staying in this pocket and I'm finding this receiver.
Anderson, I don't know. Did he play last night?
I think they double teamed him a lot.
They did triple teamed him sometimes.
Job on him.
Absolutely.
He had 2 tackles, none for a loss.
Yep. Good job by their offensive line coach.
Of course, Helms and the lead
he played
tacklers
good
all year. Helms and Toa.
Helms played. He had a good game.
I saw, and Logan backed me up on this. You know a lot about football, and Matt does can back me up on this too. Matt does too. What Heupel did was get a lot of matchups where the safeties was having to cover, like Hyde's a speedster. Well, your corners are the fastest guys on the field. Well, you got Helms trying to cover Hyde. He can't do it. Battle can't do it. Your safeties aren't as fast as your corners, as Kool-Aid and Malachi Moore. But they were putting him in situations, they'd run him. He'd run a post route there on that 78-yard touchdown. Very hard route to cover, and Hendon put it right on the money. He's gone, 78 yards. He threw seam routes to Hyde.
Yeah.
Where he getting behind the safety.
That's those ones where the perfect pass made the touchdown.
Yeah, well, see what Takeo Spikes was like. You got to give Heupel credit. Some of these play designs were perfect. You got the fastest guy on the team running up the seam, and the safety's trying to cover him, and he can't do it. I mean, I heard people, Helms is garbage. He sucks. No, he don't.
No, he's not.
He's the best player on the defense, in my opinion. All around. I know Will Anderson is the best player. But then they just said Heupel took advantage. The play design, whoever called their plays, was amazing. They said it was absolutely amazing.
I had 45-40. I had 48-45 Bama.
48-45?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be 56-49 Bama. I thought Bama would drive down. To be honest with you, I thought Bama would drive down and score a touchdown.
The most points given up to,
in the Saban era, yeah.
What did Clemson beat us by that year?
44-16.
Yeah.
But
that's the biggest butt whooping I ever seen in my life. And
that was a butt whipping.
The only team beating Bama is Bama, and the penalties. You take away all the penalties, take away all of them. They play a clean game like they usually do. They win the game.
That's what Spikes said.
And they're not even supposed to win. I don't think they're not favored to win, and they still nearly did. They had a chance to kick a field goal and win the stupid game, and they played terrible. So what that's telling me is, if somebody plays terrible, 16 penalties, and you had a chance to kick a field goal and win it, how good would that game been if they would have had no penalties? It wouldn't have been close. Bama would have beat them by 20.
Well, that's what Spikes is saying. For some reason, this Bama team is getting a lot of penalties.
They
lead
they don't have
penalties by far.
They just don't got it. But what us people that keep up and only watch Alabama, guys, it's bound to happen sometime.
Oh yeah, definitely. Well, let me go over these stats right quick. Now, Young, who I will go on record, is the best player in the nation. He will not win the Heisman.
No.
He's not on my top Heisman list because they're not going to give it to anybody twice.
They shouldn't.
He's the best player in the country. I was impressed with Hooker. Hooker may win the Heisman. 455 yards passing. Gibbs 103. Latu, big tight end, had a great game.
He did.
6 for 90.
Dropped in the port at third down, kind of hurt us, but it's put him in a bad spot.
Ja'Cory Brooks 6 for 79. Prentice
good
9
game.
for 66.
Brooks, pretty happy with him.
Yeah.
Like how he's moving along.
He's coming on.
Yeah.
Hooker 385, 56 on the ground. Wright 71 on the ground. Small 53 on the ground. Keaton 5 for 78 catches, and Jalen Hyatt definitely the player of the game. 6 catches, 207, 5 touchdowns, all records.
Yeah, Bama.
With some of the great receivers that's played.
They let them guys get over behind them and made big plays.
Oh,
that's how Georgia beat them, right?
Good.
I mean, so look for a same sort of score. I like Tennessee to beat Georgia. After seeing them play, and I didn't pick it during the summer because I hadn't seen Georgia play without all those players. Georgia has no players. Okay, They lost 16, right?
They lost a lot.
16 players.
Yeah.
Now, who's their hat hanging win?
Right now, it would be
Missouri,
don't tell me. Oregon.
Oregon's. I think they may have them 10 on the AP poll.
I think they're moved up to 10.
Yeah.
Oregon right now.
Yep. So
Tennessee's got 4 quality wins.
Your best win is against a mediocre Pac-12 team. I'm telling you, dogs, you better be careful what you're barking at.
Where's this game at? The only thing is
Georgia. Yeah, I don't care where it's at. I really don't. I think Coach Heupel and the way Hooker throws the ball.
Oh, he's good.
And listen, old fatties are where it's won at. Tennessee's offensive line.
Good.
I don't see Georgia's defensive line being better than Bama's. Is it that much better? I mean, they don't have an Anderson guy.
No, they lost the guy. Their secondary is very good.
But if they have a guy less than Alabama, then I see Tennessee handling them
I think
up front.
secondary.
And Georgia don't have a run game really because Cook and White are gone.
Yeah, it's not as good as it was.
And they used to could run a little bit so they could come off play action. They don't have that no more. They could rely on that defense at Georgia because they're going to smother people and hold them to 14 and 15, 20 points, and the offense didn't have to do a lot.
Well, I'll tell you what's going to hurt Tennessee, though. I'm not disagreeing with you. I think they could beat Georgia, but in the long run, I don't think Tennessee wins it. Their defense gives up too much.
Like Bama's.
Yeah, I mean, 424 a game.
The secondary, they're 118th in the nation. Tennessee is.
Yes, I mean, I felt like it sometimes. Like Bama can do whatever they want to.
Tennessee's 118th their secondary, and Bama's is not much higher. It's somewhere around there too.
Yeah, no, I think in the end, now I think Tennessee. I'm gonna go on and say it straight up. I think Tennessee at worst goes 12-2 or 11-2.
And that's a great year. Who cares? I mean, gosh darn.
And I really don't know if they'll beat Georgia, and I don't know if they'll win the SEC. But I think at some point their defense is gonna hurt them.
That's a good question. Does Bama want Tennessee again, and or do they want to play Georgia for the?
Well, you know,
even if Bama wins the West, I don't know.
Beat Ole Miss.
They got to beat Ole Miss and Mississippi State coming this week, and I know they lost to Kentucky. We're going to talk about that. Levis come back; he got beat up a lot, but Rogers
last night.
The Rogers, how many? What was it? 505 career completions.
They did not have a good game.
505. Completed passes he's thrown.
Yeah.
That don't even make sense. That's like some kind of Tom Brady number.
Kentucky smoked them last night. I mean, they did. Do you want to go into that game, or do you want to stay
which
on
one?
Bama?
No, I don't care.
I was just going to tell you about Kentucky.
Yeah, hit it.
Mississippi State had 225 yards. One of their touchdowns was a pick six. They ran the ball. Guess how many times he ran the ball last night?
10.
9.
Yeah. I remember. I'm just guessing. I seen him run it 7-8 times.
Yeah, Kentucky outgained him 478 to 225. Rodriguez 197. Levis threw for 200.
Rodriguez, difference maker last night.
Best running back in the conference.
Yeah,
I think he's better than Tank.
I think he's better than Gibbs.
Yes, at just running the ball. Now Gibbs all around is very good.
He was the factor last night because Levis was just still playing a little hoppy.
He's still a little. He got hit hard. He had to go out for a minute last night.
Man, they were some dirty blows as bad as Tennessee. Some dirty blows like the neck chops and the face punching, and they would throw shoulders at Bryce's head. I've seen some nasty football games, some trashy, but and I know it's a rival and it's football. Hey, and that is what it is. But that is what it is too. I mean, you throw your shoulder at somebody's head.
The kids are going to do it. It's up to the refs to. That's the ref's job, to not let it get out of hand. And I thought the targeting should have been a targeting, but it wasn't. So.
Yeah, to Kentucky, hats off to them.
Yeah,
they got out. That's a big win because
huge. Because they got Tennessee and Georgia left.
Mississippi State was creeping into my 10. If they win that game, they may have been 10 for me.
Oh,
serious.
They've been playing great.
And we got our top 10 coming here in a second.
They did not last night. What about
Memphis and East Carolina? I told you.
How many overtimes? 47, 45?
Now, before we got off last week, sitting right here, I said Memphis plays East Carolina. It's a game you might want to tune into because last time I watched it went to about 3 or 4 overtimes.
47-45.
Henning 27 for 37 with 407 passing yards for Memphis as they take the L. East Carolina's Ayler 26 for 34, 304 yards, 1 touchdown. Running back Mitchell 15 carries, 3 touchdowns. Winstead had 150 yards receiving. It's a good balanced game. These guys fight. I don't know what it is. I don't know.
Good matchup.
Yeah, and every year they play about this time of year, it's a game. Wow. 4 overtimes, 47-45 East Carolina. The Pirates.
Well, Matt, moving on. You did call that. That was a good one. Michigan beat Penn State handily. Donovan Edwards, the backup to Corum, had 173 yards. Corum 166. They rushed for 418 against Penn State.
Yeah, let's talk about Michigan for a second. I know you like them in your top 4. I got them like in my top 6 maybe. this is the first ranked team they've beat, really.
Yes.
Okay.
It is.
And so
Definitely.
this gets them like in the top 6 or so for me. However, how good is Penn State?
Well, I don't really know.
See, I had them at 10 because they were just kind of in a neutral way.
They did not look good yesterday.
Yeah,
They did for a while, but not towards the end.
they're just not there. They don't have the players they've had. And I think Coach Franklin does a good job, and I think he's got them hanging around best they can. But if that's the best Michigan's got, and they probably could have won. Dude, this game is a 1-point game at halftime.
Yeah.
Guys, okay? I mean, Penn State's not real good.
No, I don't think they're great. I don't think they're great.
When this committee comes out in about 2 or 3 weeks, okay, pants, I'm afraid they're going to try to let them in again. The Michigan's, I guess it is what I don't like Michigan. I don't like where they rank them up high.
Well, they struggled with some teams that aren't very good. Now, they didn't struggle with Penn State. But
they played Hawaii.
I do have them number 3, but we'll get into that in a minute.
Hawaii.
By default, kind of.
Maryland. UConn.
Yeah.
Dude, they ain't played nobody. I just don't. I don't like how they're building up, and this is because of last year.
Right.
They got smoked like a big cigar down there at Old Floppy Top Saturday night. A big old cigar. Georgia beat the brakes off them. Georgia destroyed them.
Tennessee would have smoked them last night.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. If we want to break, yeah, absolutely. That's just don't. I just don't. I don't see it, and I'm wrong about a lot of stuff, and where I was wrong and where I was right.
Yeah.
And I'll be glad to admit where I'm wrong. And I was wrong about USC, and we got our picks.
But now all year we both liked Utah.
But I mean, I did a whole show on Cam Rising, a special on him.
Yeah, and he had 500 yards.
He looks like the
500
Mexican bandit out there. That's what he looked like out there, just sneaking. 30 for 44, 415 yards, 2 touchdowns, 60s rushing, 234 for Kincaid, receiver at Utah. 234.
Hey, I thought USC was in complete control of this ball game.
562 total yards for the Utes, 424 pass. They had 5 penalties. USC had 12 penalties. Check. That'll do it for you. 556 total, 381 passing by Williams.
Still a Heisman candidate.
Threw the ball 42 times, 5 touchdowns, 57 yards rushing.
Wow.
43-42. It was tied in the fourth quarter. I had turned it away and went to one of these other games.
Yeah. Well, I tell you what happened there, Matt. Utah had the ball on like the 10-yard line with a minute and a half left and drove the whole field. I mean, it's not what I'm saying. It's just not going on with secondaries in Alabama and Tennessee. These passing schemes and these protection schemes are allowing these quarterbacks just to sit back there and do whatever they want.
I think there's a shortage of – we're just having – there's lulls of running backs, and then you'll have a lot of running backs one year, and then, and then one year you won't. Now,
Right.
we had a bunch of quarterbacks one year.
Yeah.
And it's just kind of runs in cycles. There's just not a bunch of defensive stuff going on, 1.
Yeah.
2, the refs have made it impossible to play football. You get called for a pass interference. You get called for sneezing on a guy. So corners can't play football anymore.
Right. Well, they're just these receiving numbers are too gaudy. I mean,
And quarterbacks are good because they play all year round and they work out all the time.
All the time.
From 6th grade, 7th grade, all the way through high school, quarterbacks are better. Receivers are taking more time in learning their routes, and corners, you can't play defensive football. They have done what they wanted to do. They're trying to demasculize football and make it more, just make it a powder puff game. I guess we just put flags on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just going to be like basketball. You hurry up, you score 70.
Yeah.
Final score is
Nobody
70
can
to
stop
65.
anybody. Nobody can literally stop.
No,
anybody.
because you can't, because you get called for targeting, except in the Tennessee-Alabama game. So they're finessing it that way. It's hard to play. Nick Saban on Thursday night show at Baumhauer's.
Love those ribs.
Yeah, they are good.
They do got good.
That Thursday night show that Saban does, he said, how we teach kids to play. He said, we teach the kids to play, to run upfield, with the receiver. But now these back shoulder throws, guys are running up, and he said the ball is gone, and they're turning back inside. So you have to play the upside shoulder up the field, says Coach Saban, which is still a good deep corner coach. So you think, well, if Saban coaches those still, why is that our weakest spot of the team? It's because of the calls. Well, you can't play football no more. These back shoulder throws have got changed the game. Quarterbacks are better, and the ridiculous refs calling everything pass interference. If you put his one game, they pull him down. There's no call. One game, the guy's got him around his arms. There's no call. But then in the next game, you jump with a guy and it's a call.
It's a call, right?
So there's no consistency.
No consistency.
The refs are bad. And it's hard for corners to play defense anymore.
Well, I mean, how many games we got here where both teams had 500 and 600 yards? I mean, even Auburn, Ole Miss, both them, one of them rushed for 500, another rushed for 400, 300.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
Wow.
You can't.
I mean, 500 and 300.
You can't tackle no more. You can't. I mean, it's just there's so little you can do to do anything. It's just it don't make sense.
I don't know what's going on with the defenses. But, I like, and there's still good defenses out there, obviously. Now, I think Alabama has a good defense.
They're top 10 defense.
And Logan, I hope it's done to I do not think Tennessee has a good defense.
No, it's going to hurt them when they have to play
I
something.
do not think
if they get into the playoff and have to play Ohio State or somebody that can really sling it all over the yard.
Yeah, I do not think they. But their offense is good enough. I mean, it's number one offense in the country. It's good enough that their defense isn't horrible, but it's not great.
Well, if they can just get after the quarterback, you just do what Center did to Etowah, just make him uncomfortable.
But I do think it'll hurt them in the long run. But okay, we'll move on off that. I'll go ahead. I'm sorry, Matt. What about that?
Yeah, I watched this game. It went down, wound up going to overtime, 43-40 TCU. I like TCU. I had them 10 last week. I brought them into the top 10 as a surprise. Dunning, he started as the backup QB. He's just coming in, filling in. He throwed 40 passes, 88% completion, 286, 2 touchdowns. They run for over 100 yards, and Johnson had 180 receiving. Now, Sanders, Oklahoma State, he's good too.
He is, but I did think he lost his Heisman bid.
He had 20 drops and 20 missed passes, 16 for 36. That's a problem. That's a big problem.
Yeah, he probably lost his
245, QBR 65. Richardson had almost 100 rushing. And receiving, he also had about 80. So
that was it. I thought they'd won that. We were sitting there and it showed it. I mean, I was, you know how big I've been on Oklahoma State. They're for real.
Yeah, you've had them at five all year nearly.
Yeah, and
they dropped them plumb to golly.
Oh yeah,
I think they put them at like 13 or something.
11, 12.
Yeah.
AM and USC, right?
Yes, and losing a game, both of these teams. USC is another good example. USC lost on the road. A tough game, ranked opponent, late. Oklahoma State on the road, late loss in overtime. In a tough place to play.
Yes.
I just can't drop them that far. They dropped Bama from 3 to 6.
Yeah, and they played in a tough place.
Bama goes.
I mean, I told
Bama. They go on the road to one of the most hostile environments. I don't care if you Pac-10 people. We got people from Ohio watching, Arkansas, Tennessee. Full, crazy. They ain't nowhere. There's just not much like it.
There's 100,004 people there, and 100,000 of them are Tennessee fans. There's 4 Alabama fans at that ball game.
Honestly, I think they said there wouldn't not even close to 10,000 Bama fans.
Oh my God!
So they were outnumbered 9-1.
Hey, that's what college football's all about, though.
They tear the goalpost down, and where else in the world do they tear down their goalpost and put it in the lake because they beat Kentucky? No.
No, because they beat Alabama.
Well, okay. So Bama fans again, and y'all move on, bro.
Yeah.
They're gonna get it, and if they lose next 2 or 3 games,
I don't think they will. But I am worried about Ole Miss.
Yeah, they can score points.
I'm not worried about Mississippi State.
Defense guy, we just Bama needs a gut check. This is a slap in the face. Hey, quit getting off sides.
Yeah.
Hey, receiver, you're standing there. Get locked in. Stop leaning, and he nearly fell over. Just a lot of silly stuff, but hats off Tennessee. Had a good game. It looks like they didn't have hardly any penalties. So now they may have a lot of penalties next week. But they ain't had a lot of penalties this year, and Bama has. So people could say,
the SEC.
well, they was against Bama. The refs was just all them. Well, when they played Texas, we had 15 that night.
I know.
So was those refs against them too?
No, 66 in 7 games.
Sometimes you got to stop, taking up for them and just say, you know what? If you got a kid, when my son played and he messed up, you're accountable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
it's on you.
Mm-hmm. You got to be.
You fighting Irish, Dean. Took one on the chin.
Wow.
I love
I
it.
thought they had
I
that.
can't stand Notre Dame. No, I don't
16
like
to
Notre
14.
Dame. So Auburn fans, I don't want to hear Big Matt. He hates Notre Dame. No, I don't. I mean, he
It's
hates
okay
Auburn.
For you to hate Notre Dame.
Yeah, I do. He don't like Auburn. He's an Auburn hater. I don't. That's just what aggravates me about some Auburn fans. A few, they get more excited when that Bama loses than they do their own team. Like if Auburn wins, it's more exciting to see Bama lose than Auburn win.
Yeah.
That's weird.
It's been like that since Saban got there for a lot of people. A lot of people don't like it.
Well, it's just weird.
But I talked to some guys up in Kentucky. They's like, I don't mind seeing Alabama win. But they, you know who they hated?
Tennessee.
Tennessee.
Absolutely.
I like y'all for Tennessee. I mean, it's a golf course. Y'all like for Tennessee Saturday?
No,
No, we're not for Tennessee.
because they're
Saturday.
Kentucky fans.
Definitely not.
No, you're in Kentucky. Yeah.
I mean, they were 110% for Alabama.
Yeah.
But, that's just kind of hatred.
Well, that's the way it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
But, so Notre Dame takes one on the chin. I think it's funny. I can't help it. If we got Notre Dame fans, my apologies. OU takes care of business,
Wow.
beats Kansas,
Got
puts
their
a
quarterback back.
puts a L on them. Scored 52-42.
Went from 0 to 52.
Yeah,
Wow, in a week.
with a quarterback. But they played 5 quarterbacks last week.
Yes.
So guys, this makes a difference. When Monroe played against A&M, why was the game close? Well, because their starting quarterback didn't play.
Yeah, and everybody was on him. Well, he's a good running back, but he had some trouble throwing.
Yeah, UAB beat Charlotte 34-20.
And Jack State beat North Alabama 47-31.
47-31. That's a pretty good score.
And Ole Miss beat Auburn 48-34, Matt.
Yeah, tell me about that
500 yards rushing. Judkins,
Tank just
Zach Evans, and Jackson Dart all had over 100 rushing. Of course, Tank had 180. Hunter had 80. Ashford had a bunch. Ashford and
did he rush for over 100, Ashford?
No,
He didn't.
no.
He had some trouble. As I was watching, I watched the first
They
half
got
of that
into it on
game.
the sideline, him and Tank had to be separated.
Well, that's okay. That means at least they care. When players, teammates fight, I know they care. If you don't do nothing, I guess you don't.
Well, but I hate that for Auburn kind of because the problem has been their offense. What's wrong with their offense? Well, they got their offense rolling yesterday, but the defense didn't play well. 500 yards is a
They
lot
can't
of yards.
put them together. And Harsin was very aggravated at moments. They got it's like
They
a
must have
third
had some
and
bad calls.
here's a 3rd and 5,
pretty
and
upset.
they jumped off sides. Their end moved or something. Give them a first down. He's like, my God, man, like we got them pinned here. Or like they went for it on 4th and down. And he had the guy sacked in the backfield and he got loose. It's just they're not getting any breaks.
No, they did show some fight. They
They
were
did.
down 21-0 quick.
Yeah, that's
and
why I
came
turned
back.
it. I turned it away and I was like, well,
But they just couldn't stop Dart. I mean, Lane Kiffin's the man. He's good.
yeah.
I'm worried about that game. I really am. Bad. Because if Alabama loses that, they're out of the playoff.
Yeah.
And we're Alabama fans. We make no bones
Yeah,
about that.
two losses there to be out. And they should be. They should be out.
And that's LSU beat Florida.
Man, dude, Florida had
Wow.
this game won. Dude, AR-15 was having a good night.
Right.
Didn't throw a lot of bad passes. Had a pretty good QBR for the night. LSU is coming around, and guys, LSU, just don't be surprised.
I think he's doing a good job there.
Well, they got Ole Miss. Maybe is it this week?
I don't know about this week's game.
No, I think they're off, and then they come back. Yeah.
It's not a big week, is it?
Yeah, here's all the games for next week. We're going to do our top 10 here. And then we'll go over the ones we have and don't have. Yeah, so UCLA, all right, Ole Miss. Yeah, that's Ole Miss. Yes, it is this week. I was right. Boom.
It is this week.
Ole Miss, guys, let me tell you something. Remember Uncle Matt told you this. Don't be surprised
if they win.
What was that? What was that? Letters we done? Don't be DBS. Remember we've been doing that. DBS.
Don't be surprised.
We did it with Tennessee and Alabama. I'm just telling you. Now Ole Miss is ranked now. I think they got them at 7 now,
Yeah,
7
they're
or 8.
moving on up there.
I don't, because I'm waiting. And Matt, how could you put so and so in there in the top 10? Why would you do? I'm waiting to put them in. I want to see this game. If they beat this team,
That's 2:30 next week.
they'll come in for me at number 7 or 8. That will be.
That's a good one. We'll go. Hey, we got there is.
Yeah, there's 4 or 5. But all
4 or
these
5.
teams are off. Everybody's by
Yeah.
this week. Everybody's got a. Now, last week's picks, Dean.
How we do.
What we got right and what we got wrong.
All right.
Really don't think Bama loses again. Jeff predicts Bama wins out. That's possible.
I think they could.
Very possible.
But they could also lose to Ole Miss.
They did last year.
I think they'll lose to Mississippi State or LSU.
They did
or
last
Auburn.
year. They won out last year.
Yeah. Ole Miss is going to be their big game.
Yeah.
And watch me say that, and then LSU slip in there, but I don't think
Ole
so.
Miss loses to LSU, and then Bama beats the brakes off Ole Miss. So Ole Miss then has 2 losses, and it just started dilapidates from there. Right now is when it gets tough, and we're finding out what everybody's made of right now. Mississippi State,
Yeah, I think they're still a good team, but you don't want to lose right before you play Alabama.
Right now, end of October, because they're fixing to do the first of November. They're going to do the and you want to be winning. So where we was right and where we was wrong. Big Ten, number 3 versus number 1 in the East. Penn State at Michigan. Michigan takes the dub on that one. I'm gonna put me.
What did I have?
and
Penn
you.
State.
Yeah,
Oh my gosh.
I'll get one there. I like Michigan, khaki pants. Penn State's just they're pretenders.
I don't know why I had that.
I pick some just to be different sometimes too. No, we both liked Ole Miss to beat Auburn. That would be a check mark for us there. That's number 4 in the Big 12, and last place Kansas. We both had Kansas
Oh my gosh.
over Oklahoma, and we both lost that
Lost that one.
Now Vandy at Georgia. That's an easy pick. That's dumb. Vandy and Georgia. Georgia beat them by 106 to 1. They give them a point for showing up.
Vandy's still struggling.
Big 12 number 2 and number 3 Oklahoma State at TCU. I like the Horned Frogs.
You got that.
I just think they're playing good. That quarterback's playing good right now. Arkansas at BYU. I thought BYU may pull some smoke on them, but they did not. Arkansas gets the win there. LSU and Florida. I had Florida. Dean had LSU.
Yeah.
We tie it back up.
God.
The Bulldogs at Kentucky. We both like Mississippi State. What was we thinking? Well, I didn't know Flevis was. No, we said
They
that.
didn't name it till later in the week.
If Levis plays, we pick them. Now Stanford, Notre Dame, that'd be an X for that one too. Notre Dame did not win. Memphis and East Carolina, we didn't pick yet. USC at Utah, you had Utah. That'd give you 5 on a day. And Oregon was by Ohio State, by Iowa, the 22nd at home. Penn State on the 29th, and then Ohio State has Michigan the 26th. This is really the only ranked
We
game.
both had 5, didn't we?
Yeah.
Okay, Clemson. What about Clemson? Come on to Big Florida State, 34-28.
Florida State ain't good.
Well, no. I mean, they're better, but they're not great.
This week, again, we're going to find out who's pretenders and who's contenders. And there's a lot of people out there that pretend to do what we do here with this show. Guys, we appreciate it, but they ain't nobody contending. And we're appreciative for our people that watch us week in and week
Yes,
out
sir.
and have for years. The show's grown like crazy. We really are appreciative of that. And we're so super appreciative of our
Sorry.
commercial, of
Message.
our sponsors.
Yes.
I mean, without them, we don't get to do all the stuff that we get to do. So let's take a 2 minutes and we'll 30 seconds. We'll come back and do our picks. So y'all hang on with us, Jeff and Coach Short and everybody. Hang on.
I'm going to show her top.
All right, we are back. What's up, everybody? Guys, we're going to show you our top 10, and we're going to argue about that, and then We're going to do our games pick for next week.
We're getting compliments.
Yes.
Got 2 texts. It was a good show.
Dean's 10. Dean, there's your top 10 there.
All right, got Ohio State 1. Do you disagree? That's not a bad pick, is
Well,
it?
they were off, so 1 and 2 right now just don't matter.
Got Georgia 2, Michigan 3. You don't agree with that?
No, they're not a top 5
I
team.
understand. You agree with Tennessee being in the top 4?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I don't know how you could keep them out. I mean, they just beat Alabama, who was number 3. They were number 6. The only reason I've got Clemson over Bama is because Clemson don't have a loss. Got Clemson in Bama. Bama over Ole Miss because I honestly think Bama's better than Ole Miss. TCU, UCLA, and I just couldn't drop USC out. I'm sorry.
No, I can't either. They lost on the road
By 1 point
late.
to a good team.
Yeah, to a team that we like.
Utah's good.
Cam Rising is a football player.
He's definitely a football player.
And Williams let it get away from him. They had a few penalties there late and kind of put them in a bad spot. But, yeah. I mean, Bama's not moving. I told you last week, I said, if they lose this game, they're not moving from anymore. They're not going back in the top 4. They don't deserve to be in the playoffs. People stop.
No,
Why would they? Why? Not unless all these other teams had a loss.
Yeah, but, you got 5 teams undefeated over them.
Look, the idea.
I don't have them over. I don't have Ole Miss over them, though. I'm sorry. I just don't.
The idea of putting in Bama over a lot of these teams because it puts butts in seats, that idea is gone.
Yeah, you can't.
It's
not fair.
That idea has moved on and has diminished itself. Nobody wants to hear that anymore.
Would you agree with that? It's not fair. I mean, you can say Alabama's the top 4 team every year and just stick them in there, but come on now. They can't have 2 losses and you still go,
No.
well, they're one of the best 4 teams.
No.
Well, they may be, but if they got 2 losses, they're not in.
No. My 10, I got Georgia 1. They're dominating. They beat people. They beat Vandy and company like they're supposed to. Ohio State, they're probably one of the most prolific offenses in the country right now. I like Clemson at 3. They're taking care of business. They're playing a little shady, but I'm bumping them with a little love because I like them this week. I think they're going to beat Syracuse because they're at home, so I'm just going to go ahead and put them at 3. And I got the team that's going to square off in 2 weeks anyway. One is going to play 4 by my list. Georgia will play Tennessee November the 5th.
Yeah, that's going to change.
That's going to happen, so I can put them there. It's going to change. Outside looking in, right out of the box, Bama's at 5. They're going to stay at 5 until something above them changes. Now, if they beat Ole Miss 46-6, I'll put them back in.
Right.
But who am I going to take out?
Right.
If these teams keep winning.
Yeah. I mean, you can't.
I can't. I'm not moving Bama until somebody above them does something stupid. Till one of these 4 does something dumb. Number 6, Khaki Pants, Michigan. TCU, Horned Frogs.
They keep winning.
Close games, in overtime, they find a way to win. Dunnigan, he's a second-team quarterback. He's not even the
good.
starter, and he's come in and playing great. UCLA, we're going to find out this weekend. I got you at 8. I like where they're at, and I'm with you. UCSC lost a road game to Utah.
I can't completely sell them out on that.
And I had to put Okie State, I know. But they're still a good football team.
I still think they're better than Oregon and Syracuse.
Yeah, and we're going to find out.
Yeah.
Now, my 11 outside, I had Oregon or Ole Miss.
I think I had.
And you had?
Oregon.
Yeah.
Wake Forest maybe was ranked pretty good.
Yeah. But, so,
Syracuse.
that's where we're at with that. And let's see what we got over here. Anybody want to share their top 10, we'd be more than happy to go along. What's going on, Teddy? Coosa Christian Conquerors Defensive Coach of the Year.
Teddy Whitmer.
Workouts analysts and specialists. 2 losses, bottom 5. Oh, yeah, if Alabama loses this to Ole Miss, I don't know if they'll be in the 10. We're going to have to see how – because you got to see where everybody else is playing, how everybody else
We're not going to scratch like that.
You got to find out where's these other teams.
Right.
I mean, what if Clemson – if they lose to Syracuse –
Now, I'll be honest with you. I think Alabama's better than Clemson. I think Tennessee's better than Clemson. Alabama's probably better than Michigan. I do not know that Alabama and Tennessee are better than Georgia and Ohio State. I just don't. I can't sit here and say that with 100% conviction.
Yeah. Well, they got a loss. I don't see how you can be in the playoffs. Stop.
But I do, and I know I've got Michigan over them. But I do think Alabama's better than Michigan. I think Tennessee's better than Michigan. But I cannot say that about the top two. I don't know.
Now, not this coming week, but the next, which will be Halloween. We're going to have something spooky spectacular for you right here on the Matt and Todd Show, because it'll be show number 161. That weekend, before we do this, Arkansas's at Auburn. Kentucky's at Tennessee. Michigan State's at Michigan. Ohio State hosts Iowa at 11 o'clock. They've already got a time on Fox. And Georgia and Florida will play at the Shrimp Bowl party.
The biggest cocktail party ever.
Now, into this weekend, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 games that we're going to do. Texas at Oklahoma State.
Texas is on fire, man. Oklahoma State's good. I'm big on Oklahoma State, but I got to take Texas in that one.
Are they going to reel back from a loss, or are they done? Was they really good?
Good point.
Was they really good? Is Sanders? He's good.
Let me give him. I'll change my pick. Oklahoma State.
Is Sanders really good?
I think he is. It's going to be tough for Texas to win on the road. I forgot about that.
They lost.
Yeah, they're going to be mad over that loss.
They lost in overtime.
Yeah. Yeah, and got them at home too, right?
And it's at Okie State.
Yeah, I'll pick Okie State.
I'll be different.
But don't be surprised if Texas.
I'm just gonna be different. I kind of feel like at Oakley State, they're the Cowboys, because you can't read him. You know that commercial. He's just.
Oh yeah. I just can't read this guy.
What's going on here? Ole Miss at LSU. I'm just gonna do it.
I'm going Ole Miss.
I've been talked into it, but I watched a little bit of stuff today. Jake Crane, Crane and Company. Go there and find them. Subscribe. I watched too much of him today. He got me talked into it. Big SEC battle. This is a must win. Bama can't lose more games.
I don't think they will.
By the way, the other two games are at 2:30. At Oklahoma State on ABC and at LSU Ole Miss is on CBS. 6 o'clock, ESPN. Bulldogs at Elephants.
I'll take the Elephants.
He's taking the Elephants. I'm going. No.
You gonna take Mississippi State? No, I can't do it. I don't see it.
Not at Bama can't.
Not with their offense. I think Alabama can get ready for that.
They're not a traveling band.
Nah.
Bama's not. If that was at Mississippi State,
maybe
I may think about it. Syracuse at Clemson. I ain't even gonna think about it. I'm just gonna put my name tag down there. Clemson beats them.
I think so.
UCLA at the Ducks.
I'm gonna pick the Big Ducks. I think UCLA's good, but I don't know if they're that good.
Yeah. Well, it's at Oregon too.
Yeah.
Being at Eugene, that's a tough. That place is in a down. The way they cut it, it echoes in there. I've heard people talk about this. That's going to be 11 o'clock ABC. Clemson, Syracuse, 2:30 for UCLA at Oregon, and the Big 12 game of the week: K-State at the Horned Frogs.
I'm not picking the Horned Frogs.
7 o'clock.
No.
Kansas State's been playing,
Kansas State has been playing good.
But I've been rolling with these guys for a few weeks. I brought them into my top 10 last week, so I'm gonna keep rolling with TCU.
Yeah.
So we will tear that out like we always do, and we'll put it over here under the smart cup, and we'll come back next week.
Got bad on our picks this year.
Where we hope you guys will come back.
Getting a little harder.
And come back and be with us next week, guys. We've had a fantastic show. We don't want to hold anybody up for doing whatever they got going on for the rest of the night. Remember, you can always find us on Spotify, iHeartRadio, everywhere. And Rumble. I have uploaded some videos to Rumble. Rumble is a new YouTube style app. And it's new. And I'm trying to put us on there. And because there's not a lot of sports stuff on there, very little, and it's all NFL. So I'm loading our college spot over on Rumble, and we picked up 2 or 3 people already, a different audience.
Good.
So, I'm trying to put us on every creek bank, every dirt road, every sky that we can possibly get on. That's where we want to be at, Dean.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Congrats to Jack Amos again.
Jack Amos and Gelsel team of the week, and we may not have another team of the week. This is just a special situation.
When somebody pulls a big up.
Yeah, guys, it's got to be. Yep. So we'll catch you guys Friday night at Raglan versus the Panthers of Spring Garden. The Fighting Howards will be on the road. Coach Ragsdale, Coach Murphy, and company.
Looking forward to that one.
Yep. Keep your heads clear and your hearts full of God. We'll catch y'all guys later.